PodAskew Podcast is a proud member of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of PodAskew. Fuck!
You know, Rico still can't get that shit right. I don't know. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? It's CJ. Listen, so what this is you're about to hear is, as we referenced in our last episode, Disney+J, we had a conversation during the Great Christmas Movie Debate with Logo.Mike about Disney+, but it just didn't seem to fit with everything else with the debate conversation. So what we did was we pulled that out because it was still good information and a fun conversation, and we decided that we were going to actually make it part of another episode that we just put out, and then Rico and I did what we do web best and didn't shut the fuck up for over 2 hours. So ultimately, now we're going to put it out as a bonus piece. So it's Logo.Mike and I and Rico, and we're just discussing Disney Plus and a lot about The Mandalorian more than anything else, the first 5 episodes. So it picks up right in the middle of the conversation, so if it sounds a little odd to you guys, that's why, and just sit back and enjoy. It's about 30 minutes. I hope you'll like it, and look for new PodAskew coming up with our New Year's Eve special and the goodness that we have planned for you in 2020. So, enjoy. Actually, as we move on, Rico, you mentioned something, and Mike, I hope this is how you watched Iron Man 3, but Disney Plus has come out, and as a pop culture show, Rico, the fact that we haven't addressed that above and beyond any other shows that are out in the podcast ether, we probably should talk about Disney Plus a little bit.
Thank you for paying for it, so I can watch. See, I'll say this:
yeah, you owe me $6.50 a month. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. When Disney announced, and I think we both had our reactions on air.
I think so.
Disney Plus is doing Disney is doing a streaming shit. Fuck them. I gotta say, I completely recant my fuck them because now I'm like, oh my god. Like when you first gave me the login and I was like setting up the account and looking at everything they offered, I had this whole wave of nostalgia of like, oh my god, they have the Rescues Down Under. Oh my god, they have this. And I'm
agree.
I work at a fucking video store. I could get 90% of all this shit. Not to mention I could have gotten at least maybe 50% of all this shit from Netflix.
Right.
To have it all, like, to how much out. I saw someone commented about this on, like, Twitter, or it was a meme or something. And it's not everyone reliving their childhood. It's that we forgot that there's happiness in the world.
That's probably true. I can't even argue with that.
All been miserable for the past 15 years.
At least the last
now we're
3.
like, oh my god, gargoyles?
You know what? Gargoyles wasn't a show I got heavy into. Like, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I'm not dogging on it, but like, it's not one that caught me.
What was the show?
Gargoyles?
Gargoyles.
Yeah. I was more to that point, Rico. The one that got me excited was seeing X-Men the animated series.
I agree.
You know, like that's the one that got me. Like, oh shit! You know what I mean? like that and Mike, again, this might fit more into you and me, but the Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah.
That movie being in there.
That's old
you
school.
know.
Yeah, when you told me about X-Men being on there.
What's that, Mike?
I said, when you told me about X-Men being on there, the animated series, that was like one of the first things I watched.
Me too. Yeah.
After I watched The Mandalorian.
You know what? I watched it before The Mandalorian, which we should touch on very quickly. Rico, how Mike is up to episode 3. He hasn't seen 4 or 5 yet. Where are you?
I'm 5.
Okay, so you and I are on the same page. I watched 5 today, so I don't want to spoil anything from Mike, but dude, it it's living up, man. It's not faltering.
Yeah. It's all killer, no filler. Like, I like how they're doing the episodes. Like,
weekly?
It's not like every episode is going to be 40 minutes or every episode is going to be 30 minutes. Like, they're like, we're just going to show you the best stuff, and whatever the running time is, that's what it is.
They seem to be hovering around the same time, but I know the point you're making, Mike, and I don't disagree with you. They're not set to a specific time number,
right?
But they seem to hover around the same amount of time. Yeah. Rico?
Well, I will say this, and I'll refrain from spoiling anything, but Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie. What?
Our buddy,
I love Maddie Granger, but what the fuck?
He's not liking it? Really?
He just says, I don't understand he's like, I don't understand why you all love it. And my argument, and we went on a whole back and forth because.
Oh, did you? I didn't see that.
Yeah, dude. We were like to the point where I'm still considering I should hit him up and be like, are we good?
I saw a back and forth between you and Henry, but not the one with you and Maddie.
No, me and Maddie was on Facebook, and I think he deleted the post.
No shit.
Yeah. Now, Maddie, if you're listening, I will say I see your point. That in his defense, he doesn't understand where the plot is. He doesn't understand where it's going because in his defense,
I can see that
it's not really going anywhere. Each episode.
What's that? Hold on, Mike. What did you say?
We don't know where it's going yet. That might be a huge surprise at the end.
And without spoiling anything for you, up to the two you've missed, they still haven't really given it a direction.
But it's still entertaining. Like, even if you didn't know what Star Wars was, you know who Yoda is. Everybody probably knows who Yoda is. Who hasn't seen Star Wars.
I do think I do think the world's getting a little too nuts over Baby Yoda. I mean,
yeah.
I like it, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with it. But I do think that this is the
memes and everything, yeah.
It's the new trend, and it will die down now.
Yeah.
And for those who are fans like the three of us, we'll still enjoy it. Sorry, Rico, I interrupted you.
That's okay. It's the new Baby Groot. That's what it is.
Right.
But his argument, and I agree with him, is that it's not going anywhere. Even with the 2 episodes that you haven't seen, Mike, nothing happens.
No.
A lot of happens, but not for the story of the season itself.
We'll put it this way.
Episodes, but it's like every episode has a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
There's no they're not dragging out an episode to supplement a future episode.
There's only been one.
It's resolved.
There's only been one that I feel like did that, and Mike's already seen it, so I'm not spoiling anything for him. And that's the one where he handed the Baby Yoda off, and they were trying to drain the midichlorians out of it, and he went back and rescued it. And that was episode 2, or it might have been 3. It might have been the last one you saw.
Mm-hmm.
So the end of 2.
The end of 2. So either way, I knew Mike saw it because it was not the last 2 episodes. But to your point, Rico, there's not the overall arc is not being, it's not clear. I do want to say, Maddie, if you're listening, buddy, we still love you, man. Don't, just because we're not agreeing with you.
Well, he got frustrated because the sort of automatic defense for the show is that it's Star Wars Western, and he's like, what fucking Westerns have you guys been seeing where you can compare this to a Western? He's like, because one character walked into a saloon, it's automatically a Western, and because it's on a desert planet, it's a Western? How? And I kind of threw out some some record, I was like, it reminds me of Shane. I'm like, dude, it's the most Western Star Wars thing we've ever had.
When was this post, Rico? Because I don't remember this.
Yesterday.
Okay, I was kind of down for the count yesterday, so that's probably why I didn't see it. So
yesterday or the day before, it was one of the 2.
Okay, so it's not the one that we talked about. I'm not going to throw Maddie under the bus, but it's not the one we talked about.
No. It was a fresh thing that he posted on Facebook, but it doesn't matter. I think I looked at my notifications, all the ones that I had gotten, all disappeared.
He didn't
But,
even
like-
block you, did he?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Maddie would do that.
I don't think so either, but I was just asking.
If he met Maddie fucking blocked me because I didn't like his opinion of the Mandalorian, whatever, dude. Like, I will say I see his point, but I also am kind of more frustrated that he's not seeing our point, which is give it time.
It just seems odd for Maddie. Like, that's not a position I would expect from him. You know what I mean?
It would look like a show that he would be into, but I
yeah.
think that he liked The Force Awakens. He did not like The Last Jedi. He liked, I think, Rogue One. He didn't. I don't even know if he's seen Solo.
Yeah, I don't know either, actually.
But he's but less about Maddie and more about we're not talking about the Mandalorian. We're talking about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to dog on Maddie. I just, yeah.
I think as slow and as it's purposely dragging out because they can't just fucking rush everything. They're adding these chapters. That's why they're chapters. It's a whole long story, but the implication is we don't know if it's going to go over a second season. We don't know if it's going to go, to 5 seasons. This may just be a limited series type of scenario because we don't know the character. We don't see any other Mandalorians in the Star Wars sequels.
No.
The last time we saw a Mandalorian was Boba Fett.
To your point, by the way, and spoilers to those who haven't seen it. Mike, you've seen this, so I'm not ruining anything for you.
Shoot.
I don't agree with you about episode 1 about the guest spot.
Boba?
Yeah, I don't think that's him.
How could it be?
I thought it was confirmed.
No, I don't think it is.
They're saying he got out of the pit?
I guess.
Yeah. That he is in the background, and you have to raise the brightness on your TV.
The brightness of your TV to almost to max to see him. But I don't think it's him.
They're probably just fucking with fans.
I think so.
To be fair,
or it's someone similar.
Yeah, just to cause a discussion,
But it has the same the thing on his helmet that sticks up, the eye, and what are these?
Well, just because it's got an antenna sticking up doesn't mean it's Boba.
But it looks like the same armor. It looks green. It looks damaged. It looks like Boba's armor. Because I saw a clear photo where they high contrasted it, and it looks like Boba Fett. And I also thought there was a confirmation. But either way, it's just cool to see Mandalorians. And that was my argument for Maddie. It's like, we don't really know a ton about the Mandalorians. We've seen
not at all
in Clone Wars and in Rebels. But Boba has more mystery to him than actually being a character that does anything. What does Boba Fett do? He shoots at Luke once in Hoth, misses. He takes Han Solo in Carbonite to Jabba. We see him in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi, and he gets his jetpack knocked by a fucking blind dude who's been in a coma for 3 fucking years. He blasts across, hits the fucking thing, and then falls in the Sarlacc pit. That is the most mysterious figure because he looks imposing. When he walks, we've got the sort of the cowboy. What are those things at the bottom of their boots? Spurs.
Spurs. Yeah.
Yeah. They add a Spurs sound effect when Boba walks to give off that gunslinger type of vibe. He's the man with no name in a Mandalorian mask. Now, the Mandalorians are almost like a weird samurai loyalty tribe. They have they're all about honor and loyalty and they have their own morality code. So to go into this backstory and have this one character, which we're just going to have to call Mando because we don't fucking have a name for him.
That's what they've been calling him in the episodes. So yeah,
I know because they don't know because even he is I don't even know if I have a name.
Which,
Because
by
he's
the
an
way, like, this is purely a me thing, but that name sits funny to me, calling him Mando.
It makes me think of Lando immediately.
I know, I take it to a much darker, worse place. Like, I take it to a place where they're like, I guess as someone with a disability who's been made fun of as a kid, like, I take it to a place where it's not meant derogatory, but it comes across very much that way to me.
I don't get the connection.
I don't know how to describe it to you, Rico, and I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not even giving shit to the show because I'm sure it's a me thing as opposed to a general thing. But to me, it just feels very derogatory to people that are different. You know.
I mean that I don't see what you're talking about, so it's definitely a you thing. If we
Which
get
is
more,
why I'm not screaming to the high heavens that there's that I have a problem with the show. You know.
Well, let me ask this: if there's any disabled people that are listening to the show and are watching Mandalorian, do you share CJ's opinion?
Yeah, maybe it's...
derogatory Mando. But we don't know anything about this character. I do wish they would stop doing these one-off episodes where, okay, now he saves a tribe. Okay, now he's blah, blah, blah. And because I'm trying not to spoil it for Mike, but let's fucking go know who the fuck this guy is. Like, I don't need to see his face. I don't need to see him take the helmet off. But I would like to know more of just that one initial flashback where him as
they
a
do show flashbacks.
kid win like one episode or two episodes of him.
I don't remember a flashback.
I mean, I remember like there's like quick flashes of like him thinking of something. Like I guess it's him as a kid. Right?
Yeah.
Don't they show him as a kid?
Yeah.
They might have. Yeah.
When they're making him that new set of armor and every clang and spark, it shows him with his parents running from a battle. Presumably the Empire is like fucking with them.
Yeah.
But the implication is that the Mandalorians brought him in. The Mandalorians are more of like, you are one of us. Or if you're not a part of the Mandalorian tribe, you can't be part of us.
Right.
They're very like, we are a tribe. You will, and they embrace this fucking kid. I would like to know more about that. I am also curious about the whole Baby Yoda thing. And we're not stupid. We know it's not Yoda as a baby.
But there's no name for what his species is, so that's why he's called Baby Yoda.
Right.
I do have a small conspiracy theory.
Oh, God.
That if you look at the timeline, it is about because they established the Yoda baby thing is 50 years old. That would be about 5 years before Phantom Menace.
Yep.
Yoda's on the Jedi Council. There's another female Yoda creature on the Jedi Council named Yaddle.
Yep.
They got it on. She had a kid. We never see Yaddle again. And then jump forward 50 years later, before Yoda dies, he wants to fucking not have to pay 50 years back alimony and child support. So he gets a hit and hires the Mandalorians to fucking take out this fucking kid. He's like, because child support I will not pay. And that's what ultimately I think is happening.
This takes place after Empire or Return of the Jedi, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he may have made the hit from Dagobah.
Sure.
Look, if Luke could fucking have a force time all across the fucking galaxy, then Yoda can fucking make a hit in the middle of a swampland.
To your point, God, Mike, go ahead.
So maybe this Yoda in The Mandalorian is the Last Jedi that Yoda is referencing in
The Last Jedi.
Is it The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi?
No, not Last Jedi. I'm sorry. Return of the Jedi. Because remember, they're talking about Luke, and he's like, he's our last hope.
Oh yeah. There's one more.
There is another one.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to think it's Leia.
That's an Empire. That's the end of Empire.
No, it's the end of Jedi. He's right.
No,
I don't know. I'm getting confused.
Empire.
But
no, you're right. Rico is right. It is Empire.
I think
he's talking to McGinnis' ghost. But yeah, it's Yoda. What?
McGinnis?
Or did I say it wrong?
You combine McGregor and Alec Guinness.
Well, I mean, shit. After the Obi-Wan voicing we did for you that never saw the light of day, that kind of fits.
McGinnis.
But going back real quick, Rico, while you were talking, I did some research. There's no confirmation that's Boba.
Okay.
It's not said that it's not,
Yeah.
but there's no confirmation.
I don't think
that
they would
it
give
is.
They would tell you if it was or not.
I think you're right,
It's just
Mike. Yeah,
they just threw it in there. Maybe they'll answer it at the end of the season. Who knows? Or maybe next season.
The one thing that they did answer, and Mike, I don't want to spoil too much for you, but this is one thing I do feel like I need to talk about, is that the Mandalorian can take off his helmet. They just choose not to, except when necessary. Because my biggest question was, how do you eat with that thing on 24/7? And apparently he does take it off to consume food.
Okay.
But that doesn't. It didn't show him. It didn't. It didn't spoil anything beyond that.
Yeah.
But they did confirm that he takes his helmet off for that purpose.
Now, on the flip side, because that was actually a whole big thing that you brought up, is on the show Clone Wars and Rebels, there are Mandalorians featured, and they take off their fucking helmets.
On screen?
Characters, what?
On screen? Like they show their heads or faces or whatever? Okay.
Yeah. But I think the whole point of, like, if you take your helmet off and someone is seeing you, it's like, it's not allowed, but it's like, oh, you lost a little bit of honor. Like, they look down slightly on you, like, that's a whole thing that briefly mentioned in Mandalorian. It's like, has anyone seen you without your helmet on? It said no. And they're like, all right, you are more honorable than blah, blah, blah. Like, you deserve this recognition.
Right. And not to get into a whole discussion, Enrico, I really don't want to tonight, but it feels like the Mandalorian in and of itself is its own religion, or at least a cult of some sort, you know?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's got its own... It's a
its
samurai...
own belief system. It's got its own belief system. That's the best way to put it. Whether it's religious or not, it's got its own belief system.
Right. It comes off like... I always imagine them as sort of... not nomadic, but...
they're tribal, by far.
Polynesian.
Polynesian, you said?
Like they're sort of like a Hawaiian Polynesian. Like, I get that vibe. And it could be the fact that Tamara Morrison played Django, and he's got that Maori, feel to it.
Yeah.
I would say that helps the background, because now in our own mind, regardless of whether you remember what Boba Fett sounded like before, but like Tamara Morrison is the voice of Boba Fett and all the clones.
And Django, ultimately.
And Django. So to have that sort of Maori-looking background, I envision the Mandalorians as Marilorians.
Well, and
just sort of,
and I don't want to start a whole debate, Enrico. If you feel like this is a deeper discussion, we'll save it for another day. But does that mean they're all Fett, or is Fett like a family name? So Django and Boba are.
Fett is a family name.
Okay,
yeah,
I agree, but I wanted to see what you thought, Mike.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Let me put it this way: if they were making more characters that we saw their faces, like they took the helmets off of Mandalorians, The Rock would qualify, and Jason Momoa would qualify.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They would be like anybody, unless they were like, oh, like we don't know this character, whether he came from another Mandalorian tribe and was adopted by another Mandalorian tribe, or if he's just a regular dude who got embraced by the Mandalorians. But Pedro Pascal, because of his Latin background, he kind of does look the part a little bit.
Yeah, well, even though you don't see him, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. But so someone like Benicio del Toro, I could say, oh yeah, he'd be perfect in the Mandalorian. I'm saying it. There's a certain type of look.
I agree.
Maori, Polynesian, and sort of Hispanic looking.
All right. Well, I think that's all we can really say about Disney Plus, beyond the fact that it's just, it comes with a bunch of extras that make us all feel young again, which is fantastic. But then above and beyond, what's that?
I'm ready to rewatch the Goofy movie.
Oh, I'm fucking watching old episodes of DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Yeah, man.
Shit.
Fucking
Dude,
Chippendale Rescue Rangers on there too, as well as the Gummy Bears, man.
Oh, man.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, Tom and Huck. That's one that I'm ready to rewatch.
Youngin'.